Wild hair today.
All right, here we go.
All right.
All right, she's talking about her wild hair.
Yes, I have very wild hair today. Y'all just have to ignore it. I'm
Okay.
doing the best I can.
Welcome back. This is part 4. We say each week we're going to try to keep this short. Yeah, well, you see how that works. We'll see how we do this week. The slideshow that you seen right before this was, well, you know what it was, but if you seen the scribbling of the note, that was the note that I was making fun of last week. The cat is playing with something in the floor. Anyway, they were the notes that she had written me, and she would get mad because I would tell her I didn't know what she had written down, and she would get all frustrated and say, "Well, I don't know why you tell me you can't read it. I can read it."
I could read it just fine.
Yeah. So
I'd tell him what it said.
So in my defense, I'd have the nurses. I'd hand it to them, and I'd say, "How about read it for me? Tell me what it says." Of course, they'd look at me like I was looking at her, and
I don't know why, because I could read them just fine.
but she had one nurse that kind of played along with her game and kept trying to tell me that she knew what it said and would tell me what it said and kind of wink at Kathy, but you know, that was fine. I didn't know what it said, but she'd get mad. And,
When I get mad, I just get frustrated because I thought I knew what every one of them said. Until I got better and I read them, then I could understand what he was saying. But until I thought it was.
part of the other pictures were showing where her hair was falling out. It got a little worse than the pictures. I just quit taking pictures because, quite frankly, I just felt sorry
It
for
was
her.
so sad.
I didn't want any more pictures, but it got much worse than the pictures you saw. She I can tell her now because she's in a better
In
better
June,
place.
I had no hair.
But you ever seen that thing on YouTube where it's got the little monkey on there and her hair's all scraggly looking and stuff?
That
And it
was
said
me.
That's the way that they woke
That
up.
was.
Yeah, that's the way she looked, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
she was beautiful nonetheless. And I told her every day that she was beautiful, and I didn't care if she had hair or not. And even offered to go buy her a wig, and she told me nope, that her hair was going to grow back.
That's right. You see it?
There it is.
It may be curly and dark brown, but it's growing back. I have hair.
Tell them how you grew it back.
Just with shampoo. I used Nioxin shampoo and conditioner and took prenatal vitamins.
Prenatal.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
And I just
Keep in mind, all of our kids are in
Grown.
their 30s.
grown.
But-
And we have grandkids.
So I just find it
Teenagers.
kind of humorous that she was taking
So-
prenatal, but that was what they said to take, and that it would work. And
It
straight
worked.
up, her hair's thicker now than it's ever been.
It's really thick and it's really curly and it just does what it wants to do. I have no choice
However,
in how
her
it does.
part changed sides.
It
and
was
her
over
crown
here.
reversed.
Yeah.
Reversed. I thought that was like a fingerprint. It was always the same, but apparently not. So
No, my part changed and then I have like 2 crowns in the back of my head now. So it's just moved and it's what it is and I can't do anything with it.
the other pictures
So-
that you seen were flowers, and one of them was a cross, and it was a hand-stitched cross. And I won't mention her name because I don't know how she'd feel about that. But she was one of our teachers in school. For the ones that you don't know, me and Kathy, I fell in love with her our senior year, and started dating right after we graduated, and we got married that
A year
next
later.
year.
Yeah.
Been married 39 years, so we're actually living the sweetheart story. But anyway, she was one of our teachers, and she was also a friend before I ever come into the picture with Kathy's family, and had been around for a long time. She had they've had some really rough experiences in their life, and I won't say much more, so they may figure out who I'm talking about, and they may not want me to talk about it, but she knows what it's like to be where we were. So she had sent that Red Cross and a really nice card with it, and we really appreciate that. And if you're watching, you know who you are. And
I carried that cross with me everywhere, every day, every test that I went on, everything. I carried it with me everywhere I was.
Still
And the
has it now.
nurses, and I do still have it, and the nurses knew that they had to give it to me if they, accidentally took it off my bed. So they kept up with it as much as I did.
Yeah, it really helped more than she knew. But, well, I don't know, maybe she did know because, like
Yeah.
I said, they went through a
Had a
similar
lot of prayer
experience.
on it, yes. A lot of prayer over the cross.
I'm looking at my notes again. If I keep looking down, well, sometimes it's the cat and the dogs too.
And I wanted to say something. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but other than just saying it, when I was in Grandview, I had woke up from the coma. I guess I'm really not sure. It was one of the days I was going in and out, and I could see Ed standing there at the foot of my bed, and I saw what I'm saying is angels. I'm not sure what they were. It was like, I could see them all over the room. They were like silver glitter, and I could see them everywhere. They were all around Ed, all around my bed, all around all my machines, and I could just see them. I couldn't touch them. I felt like I could reach out and touch them, and I'd try, but I never could touch them, but I could just see them. And I honestly believe that they were angels just hanging around my bed. And I don't know how to even bring that up or talk about it, but I would ask Ed, I would say, do you not see them? Can you not see them? They're everywhere. But they were all in my room. And I know that's what that was. And I had comfort, when they were there. And shortly after that's when I think I started getting better. But I just remember it just so vivid, and I can remember what they looked like and how it felt. I don't know what to say other than I just knew, it's just one of those things that and I hated that Ed couldn't see them, but I could see them everywhere. And
I'll tell you another story too. I told you that my dad died a couple of years ago, and I was talking to my mother this week. She come out to spend a little time with us, and we were talking about my dad also saw this same thing before he died.
He did.
And but his were blue, but he described them exactly the same, but they were blue instead of silver.
And they were everywhere.
So I don't know, male, female, maybe. I don't know.
No.
But I couldn't see them then. I couldn't see them when she had them in the room. But she was visibly moved that they were there, and she believes they were angels.
I believe it.
I don't not believe that they weren't. And the fact that we remember my dad seeing the same thing, I just don't know. And I do know that we talked to some nurses about it later in the third hospital, and they said that they had other patients had kind of a similar thing
Before they
described
passed.
a little different, yeah, and usually would happen right before they passed. So again,
So I'm thankful again.
she's a miracle that she's here.
That's right. I'm still here, and
You jumped way
I can-
ahead.
I'm sorry. I
You're
got
getting chilly
chills.
bumps.
I got chilly bumps.
You jumped way
It
ahead in
just,
the program.
I know it just moves me so much because it was so real, and I could just feel it. I felt it more, I guess, than seeing, or I didn't hear or nothing. I just felt it and just knew.
We hope that helps somebody else that maybe has
Yeah.
experienced similar things that maybe
It's
they didn't
hard.
know what was happening. We still don't know what's happening,
No.
but we do know that it was very comforting for Kathy at the time.
Yeah.
And very disturbing for me at the time because I wasn't sure what was happening or what she was really seeing, and I just knew that I'd had the same kind of experience with my dad, and he passed. So, for any of you that's ever heard that story, there's some legitimacy to it. Easy for me to say. Anyway, before we both start getting teary-eyed about it, because we do quite
Yeah.
often, I'll tell you another funny one. Another funny one was, I told you I'd tell you about the cell phone. Well, me and the charge nurse, as I told
They
you before,
planned this.
we had gotten pretty close, and anyway, I would come in every day, and she would say, where's my cell phone? And I would say, it's at home. You don't need your cell phone. And she'd say, I need my cell phone. And I said, well, you can't even hold it because at the time,
I didn't have use of my hands.
yeah, she had no use for her hands. You could
And
tell
my
by trying to
arms.
write that note, and that was me putting a pen in her hand and putting it on the paper and her trying to write it. She just didn't have any motor skills at that point. She couldn't walk. She couldn't hold anything. But she was trying and she thought she could. So, it's power to her. I was letting her
I
try.
was trying. Let me tell you a funny. Well, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
No,
Well, I tell you a funny. He would. I would. They would finally let me put those sponges in my mouth.
yeah, lemon flavored.
At the third hospital, I got those lemon flavored things, and I thought I could ring that garbage can at the foot of the bed, because I used to be pretty good at ringing baskets
let me
and
tell you,
stuff.
this is the same charge nurse that apparently thought Kathy was wonderful because he spoiled her rotten.
Oh, it was funny.
And he instead of just bringing her one or two of these in a pack, oh no, he brought the whole box and left it in there. And then she would try to throw these things at the garbage can.
I was trying to ring the garbage can, and I'd throw as hard as I could throw, and it would go maybe 6 inches, on the bed. And it would be like, what? And he'd pick it up, and he'd put it in the garbage can. So I'd get another one. I'd suck on it for a while. Hey, Barkley. I'd suck on it and try, and then I thought, well, I'm going to throw it again. And I'd throw it as hard as I could throw it. That goes to show your mind is still there. And you think you can do all this stuff, but your body tells you, no, you're not going to do it. Because I would throw that just as hard as I could throw it and just knew I was going to ring that garbage can. And it would go maybe 6 inches or 8 inches. And then when I finally got to the foot of the bed, I was so excited. But every day he'd come in and have to clean the floor, clean the bed, because I'd been throwing them things trying to ring my garbage can. And
She thought it was really funny because
it
every time
was.
she'd
It was
throw one,
hilarious.
she'd just laugh and I'd say, yeah, you're trying to hit it from downtown and you can't even make it off the block.
Oh, it was so funny. It was funny, though.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyway, that just kind of shows you. Them nurses,
You gotta have a sense of humor.
the nurses are
You
so
gotta
wonderful.
have it.
They did everything to try to make things easier for us. Because nothing was easy at the time. But
They were trying to keep me from crying because I
I
was.
got 2 dogs and a cat in the floor.
And they're
down
trying
here,
to get
and they're going
everything.
nuts trying to figure out who are you guys talking
I
to.
know.
They think we're going crazy, I guess.
Yeah. They
Um,
think we have company. But
All right. Well, Kathy is. I had a script here to keep up so we'd stay in chronological
I'm sorry I
order,
kept up.
and she's just going all over the page. So I'm gonna try to
God,
catch
my
back
hair
up
is
here
wild
somewhere.
today. Y'all should have.
Let's see. Okay, there's that.
Yeah, I just kind of went all over everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She's
I
still
am
got
just,
a little bit of a cough. She still is not quite well yet,
No.
but she's doing much better than she was a week ago.
Yes.
But she's still not quite there.
And
She did finally with the little lemon stick thing. She finally did get to where she could throw it past the end of the bed, and I would hold the garbage can like a basketball goal and try to encourage her to hit it. And she finally hit it one day, and we were celebrating so much that the nurses come in to find out what was going on.
yeah, because we were excited. I finally got close to the garbage can. And
You want to tell them about the girl that used to call you Mama all the time?
oh, well, that was one of my nurses.
She was
She
so
just
sweet.
she would just come and visit every day, When she'd come on shift, she'd come in early and she'd sit and talk to me and
she
everything.
didn't even have a reason to be in her
Yeah.
room because there was nothing really she was
Yeah.
supposed to do for us. She just fell in love with Kathy for
Yeah,
some
and
reason.
she would just come and visit and just hang out and you know who you are. I enjoy talking to you. She still calls occasionally. And, she always called me Mama. Mama, what are you doing? Or how you doing today? And that encouragement really helps, I'm telling you. We had a lot of nurses and nurses assistants and stuff because they used a lot of training nurses, I think,
Yeah, they had two
in our
they had
hospital.
two different colleges
Yeah.
that were sending nursing
Nurses.
assistants to train.
And of course, I'd let them do whatever they needed to, because I was there. And if it can help somebody else, just use me and see if you can do it, And and I let them. They learned how to do needles and learned how to do blood pressures, and I mean just anything and everything because
Kathy was a really good sport until one day I walked in. and
I'd had enough.
She had told that girl when I walked in, she said, "Okay, you got one more shot and you're done." And come to find out, she'd already tried it 4 times, and Kathy had had enough that day.
Yeah, that was enough sticks. But, usually I let them stick me 3 or 4 times a piece. But that was like, that day I was hurting really bad. And it was a rough day. And I know Gracie's over here. It was a rough day.
These animals can't figure out what's going on.
This is my sidekick. She's trying to figure out who we're talking to.
Look
Gracie. See, we're talking to the
up there.
camera. See? She's snorting
She's
for
growling.
you. She snorts. That's how she tells you she loves you. But she's so rotten. But she's my little sidekick. She's trying to figure out who Mama's talking to.
Barkley has become disinterested
Yep.
and went and got into bed.
Barkley.
He's in his little bed over
I
there.
know. He thinks he's a mess. Come on, Grace.
Anyway,
I see you.
we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about her hair growing back, and along with some other funny
Maybe
things.
it'll look better next week. It's just kind of wild today. It's rainy outside, and it's kind of wild. So
Got the
it's
wind blowing, looking at you
yeah.
in the wind.
It just does that.
But we'll talk about her hair growing back next week, and I'll show you some pictures at the beginning again about what her hair looked like right before it fell out, and then we'll start showing you some pictures of what it looked like coming back, and then of course you can see today
Yeah,
what it looks like today.
like now.
It's,
Yeah, and they
actually
cut it.
kind of long on the back.
The
actually.
nurses would French braid my hair, and it would go down my back when I was in the hospital, because they'd come in there and they'd wash it, and they would French braid it down the back of my back, and so they liked doing that, and I didn't mind them doing it.
I'll tell you next week what she made me bring her when she finally could get something to drink. She told me what she wanted me to bring her to drink, and everybody that's ever worked with her knows exactly what I'm going to tell you next week that I had to bring her, because that's all I could hear until I brought it.
And then I had to tell you about one of our friends that brought us something.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I just want to thank everyone again. Thank all of our friends and family and everyone that sent flowers and sent cards and thank yous, and because it was just such blessings and so much
We were overwhelmed.
Yeah,
with cards.
overwhelmed with the
I bet
cards.
we had over 100 cards sent to us.
and flowers were
A
just
whole room full
everywhere.
of flowers.
And it was just amazing. But each and every one of you are so important to us, and how you made us feel loved and so special, because we just when you're in there for so long, you get discouraged and you get frustrated sometimes, but just a little pick me up, a card or a flower or just whatever, just a hey, I'm just making sure you're okay. That makes such a big difference.
Yes, it
Even since I've came home, people calling or texting.
Right.
And I have a supervisor that has texted me every single day. And, I just thank you so much. You just don't understand how much it means and what a blessing you are to us. And I just want to thank all of you so much. I love you. And we're trying to keep this one short, but
We
it
didn't make it.
it.
I would think we're longer on this one than we have on any of them. So I'm just going to quit trying to make them short. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
We just hope we're helping somebody,
Yeah.
and we try to remember to talk about the things that we can
Meant so
remember
much.
that meant so much to us, and some of the strange things, kind of like the angels that we're going to call it, and we just hope that this is helping someone else. This was never meant to be about us. In fact, we really struggled, as I told you guys, I think in the first one, about even doing this, because we're just not that way.
And I don't like being on
It is
camera, number one.
So
Not many people have pictures of me.
and believe it or not, it was kind of her idea to do this, and she really doesn't like being on camera. So
But I feel
starting
that
the whole
God
YouTube
has a
thing
plan for us, and I feel like we need to do it. If God tells you to do something, you need to do it, no matter what.
yeah,
Because I'm not a speaker by any means.
We're going to keep taking you along on our camping trips and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff too, just so you can see the other side. I mean, that really is the other side that this story is about. That it's about a journey of recovery and you know, getting back to whatever the new normal is, because it will never be like it was. So many things in our life have changed. You know, she lost her job. Well, she retired. She got retired. She had to go out on disability.
Medical retirement.
But that changed. That was not planned. We still planned for her to work 2 more years, and other things were going to happen. So we lost her income from that. We lost her insurance. We've had to go find other insurance. It's just so many other things that happened. But I'm going to tell you, we're so blessed.
God provides.
We're so blessed. We still don't. We've not wanted for anything. Still,
God takes care of us every single day.
So this whole thing was meant to encourage people. But like I was saying, I got off track a little bit. But we're going to keep taking you on our journey, because we do feel like that is important for people to see that there really is life after something that happens to you. It may not be recovery from COVID.
Yeah.
It may be recovering from a serious car wreck that's been debilitating. It could be from having a stroke. It could be
Cancer.
from whatever it is, cancer. But just know that there is life after all that. It's don't let that
Don't get
yeah,
discouraged.
don't get discouraged and get down in the dumps and think that you know that you're never going to have a good life again because all these things have happened to you. It's just not true.
You just change.
We have such a good time now doing things, and really I think it means more to us now than it used to, because we always took it for granted before. We don't take anything for granted.
Not one day.
And that's why we named our channel "Make Each Day Count," because we truly do. Even when we have bad days, we still make every day count. So anyway, we went way past. We're at 21 minutes, almost 22 minutes. So anyway, we will see all of you next week.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
We love you.
Like and subscribe our channel. Give us the thumbs up. Ring the bell. You know all the stuff that you're supposed to do. And I'll let
Make
you say.
each day count. Make
That's right.
each day
Make
count.
each day count.
With
All right,
everyone.
tell them bye there, kiddos.
Say bye. Say bye. Here's Gracie.
There's Gracie, and
And
Barkley
there's
has gotten
Barkley.
over in the corner, and I
Yeah.
don't know where Callie got off.
She's
to.
running.
She got on the run. She's probably digging something
Yep.
up somewhere.
But
Anyway,
thank y'all.
have a good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.